This show is brought to you by DF Studios Limited. Whether you're a business owner or entrepreneur, DF Studios will guide and assist you on the best ways to promote your brand digitally, in addition to creating visitor and customer generating content like blogs, social media posts, videos, and even podcasts like this one you're listening to right now. Visit dfstudiosltd.com or hit up info@dfstudiosltd.com for more info. And last but not least, let's talk about Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Of the Gods, right? And we have a guest collaborator here. We have Danial Lum Young. So, Daniel, thanks for coming through.
Yeah, man, no problem. Nice to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. It's so funny too because around this time last year, we talked about the Batman, right? So, I mean, here we are again talking about some DC stuff, right? So what I will do, I will just kick off. I just do a little preamble as to what how I felt about the first Shazam and whatnot, and then Ricardo, if you don't mind, you can just do a run through of what the show is about, your thoughts,
Sure.
and then once we share our spoiler-free thoughts, then we'll get into the spoiler section. Okay, we have a few spoilers to mention here, not too much, but a few, right? So yeah, when it comes to Shazam, right, the first Shazam, right, easily one of the best DCEU films we've gotten, right? But I will say it's not my top favorite, right? Personally for me, my top favorite is Wonder Woman. I actually own this on Blu-ray. Yes, I love that film. The more views I give it, right? And Shazam is right up there as well, too, right? In terms of, and this is what I particularly love about that show, right? Where it strays away from the Zack Snyder formula, and it says just like, all right, David F. Sandberg, you're gonna do your own thing. You're gonna give the character justice. You're gonna give it that aesthetic that it needs. So in this case with Shazam, it's more lighthearted, more fun, more kid friendly, I must say. While it's still dark in some points and whatnot, right? So you get some monster stuff and creepy stuff here or there, right? So it still earns that PG-13 rating, right? But still, it just skews more towards a younger audience, and the mere fact that they set it at Christmas, right, make a lot of sense, right? Zachary Levi was great as Billy was Shazam, and Asher Angel was great as Billy Batson as well too. And in this case here, you got a really great, really compelling, I must say, character, more or less origin story, right, with him, right? Even great though is like the moments involving his foster family, him trying to adjust to that family, and then his confrontation with his mom though near the end of the second act. That's still a really really strong moment, right? The villain is, there, right? Sister Savannah, I believe his name is. Yeah, the villain is there, and it's played by my boy Mark Strong, right? But he there and he do eating, right? But really, it's about Shazam and just this little boy in a grown man's body and learning how to be a superhero. That's really the style of this film, right? And it was just that lightheartedness that we really needed in the DCU at that point in time, right? Because we was getting Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad and dark shit, right? But it's only like when stuff like Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman came out, that one was like, oh, okay, we could do something a bit different. We don't have to stick to the Snyder formula with every show that we get here, right?
Yeah, well, Shazam is basically big with superpowers. That's basically the pitch.
That's right. And even in Shazam, they did a reference to Big. I actually recapped. I was like, oh yeah, that happened. That was really cool. That was really cool, right? So with Fury of the Gods, right? We were supposed to get that, in winter in quotes, right? Last year, right? It's so funny, like even this year, in theaters down here, they will still show that first trailer that dropped that had people excited and used Eminem's Business in the trailer. It was all cool and whatnot. But yeah, we were expecting this shit to come out for Christmas, and it would have made for a really great, Christmas time view, right? But we didn't get that, so it said we had to stick with Avatar, right? Avatar 2, right? So whatever, right? But yeah, we had to wait a while, and now we finally get Fury of the Gods, right? So yeah. But before we get to the synopsis for this, right? Daniel, what do you think about the Shazam film? 2018 Shazam.
Well, the first film, I really enjoy the more I watch it.
Well, 2019. Sorry for that. 2019. Yeah.
The 2019 film, yeah. Well, I don't know if I would say it gets better every time I watch it, but it gets more enjoyable every time I watch it. I mean, sure, it gets there is some kind of cringy humor like coming onto the end, and I need to get used to the fact that these are children in adult bodies. But yeah, it's decent visuals, decent action. I think it's yeah. I enjoyed it a decent time. At a decent time, and it does what it has to do. Mark Strong as Dr. Sivana, I think is pretty good. I like him as a villain. He uh would I say a well realized villain? Yeah, he's decent. He's a decent villain for Shazam. Uh, there's a minor gripe. I just wish we would get Black Adam in this series, but we're clearly not gonna do that. So
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's so funny as you bring up that I realized just the other day as we recapping the first film. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson was an executive producer on that film, right? So I was wondering now if the initial plan was that somehow, some way, Black Adam would have been part of the Shazam series or something, but nah, it's just like, well, nah, screw that. I get my own movie because I'm Dwayne Johnson, and well, we got Black Adam last year, right? But yeah, go on.
no, that's it. I gave the first Shazam a 7 out of 10, and I stand by it, a 7 out of 10, decent, fun, good time.
All right, nice. Ricardo, before you jump into the synopsis, you could just share your quick thoughts on the first film, right? Well, of course we covered it when it came out back in 2019, but yeah, looking back at it now, what do you think about it now?
Yeah, and roughly in the same space with Daniel. Decent, good time. Kind of a palate cleanser to the Snyder stuff. For the most part. So at the time, and then yeah, just appreciate just the down home family conceits of it. That's why it really worked. Like just the idea of an adopted family and all these characters and everybody, the diverse cast and making it work and for what it is. And yeah, everything just kind of come together reasonably well, and mostly because and I keep making the point is that the darkest moment in all of the DCEU is in this movie when Billy met his mom. I mean, I was like, that real cool shit. That was real brutal.
Yeah, and brutally real shit. Like it feels real, like the excuse that she gives.
That should feel way darker than anything, Superman dying or any other bullshit that Snyder tried to do. Like it's like, oh shit, that was real hard though. I had a lot of fun with it. Funny enough, they make it work for what it was. And I dug the hell out of it. I didn't expect to see to see the whole Shazam family in that, and we got that. And I was like, all right, well, this is real hard though. And they make it work, and there's a lot of fun. The usual cringe jokes, but they make like the usual observant jokes bullshit. Like probably the funniest joke in my opinion was where they couldn't hear each other. That's a funny joke.
Oh
right?
yeah.
That's a funny bit, right? Stuff like that, and they make it work. Jaimon Hansu's quite good. Well, we'll talk about Jaimon Hansu in this. And they everything come together the way it should have been. I forget who it is. I think it was the guy who played Storm, the daddy Storm in the last in Fantastic. Okay, what's the actor name by died?
I know you talk about Buffer guy's name. Yeah.
I always thought that he was supposed to play the wizard, not
Wizard, yeah.
I think he was supposed to be him. Instead of Jaimon Hansu, and they kind of got Jaimon Hansu after.
No, it wasn't him. It was a guy who played Eddie Brock's boss in Venom.
Oh, okay.
It was he who was supposed to be
I forget who that is.
Right. But yeah. But they make it work for what it was. Still really charming and well done. Good filmmaking. And Sandberg was pretty open with the material. Like you learn a lot of stuff after the fact about how tricky and interesting filmmaking this get. It's all these little personal things that make it work. I dug the hell out of it for what it was. I remember, I forget what my score was, but I probably just thinking back on it of my memory, I probably would have given it like close to like something like an 8 or something quite high. Mostly for just not being the Snyder stuff, because back then I was really not fucking feeling Snyder. Like I was still mad at Batman v Superman, and I still mad at that shit. But like it was just like, dude, you're just driving this nonsense to the ground. And then Sandberg comes in and I was like, all right, well, why we don't get more of this? Like, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah. And speaking of Sandberg, I should mention too, I like that he incorporates a bit of, his horror background into it, right?
Yeah.
He did, Lights Out, still one of the best
Right,
maybe
right,
films ever,
right,
and Annabelle Creation, which I actually
right.
really enjoy, right? Because yeah,
Yeah,
the first Annabelle was trash, but yeah, Creation was amazing. I love that. Yeah,
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 but yeah,
he's a really good director. He
yeah, yeah.
is.
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
he's a YouTuber too. Like I follow that. I follow his Polish Spasha YouTube
Right.
channel, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
genuinely talented guy. They make it work. Everybody personable. Nothing feels too problematic. Well, we learn later somebody involved in this project is very problematic. But it's not a problem. Life goes on. Yeah,
but
I
yeah.
dug it.
What is Fear of the Gods about now?
Sure. So the daughters of Atlas, won back their world. So they come and they try to get I forget the staff of the gods. I forget what the actual plot device is. It's basically the staff that Billy broke in in the last movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
by the way, I love how they just show that clip like right
yeah,
at that moment.
yeah.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So actions have consequences, and and they set up Billy's arc of him basically. Well, his abandonment issues kind of getting back to him, right? So now since he's gonna become 18, he's gonna be out of the foster system, and now he's gonna be effectively a burden on the family house. So he'll have to, much like how Mary was, right? And he having that, everything is about together, everything is together. When everybody have the powers, you don't want them going off on their own. Because again, good to me, this is solid character beats. He has abandonment issues for obvious reasons. We know why.
All or none. All or none.
Right, all or none. Right, yeah. And he was just that's the story. And then the daughters of Atlas have to, they want back the world, well, their powers and their world. And they want to they just kind of like incredibly annoyed as a bunch of goddamn children have their power. And then a little side story involving the friend. And well, there's a nice not it's like a very telegraphed twist, but still a good decent twist for what it was involving the story. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just actions and hijinks after that, and moving on. And I had enough fun with this. I was almost not going to see this because I saw the score, I saw the review score, and I was like, wow, it's really that low? And
Yeah.
they did, and it was kind of weird. It was weird to me how much they had this big cameo spoiler long. Like I see this cameo spoiler like a week out. Like really, they're letting this leak? But
I was
you know
telling
what?
myself the same thing. Like I
Yeah.
saw it in a little teaser. I like, why would you spoil that?
Yeah, why would you spoil that?
Yeah.
Whatever. So I was thinking, wait, the movie's utter garbage, and real trash and thing. And to be fair, when I saw that first trailer, the Eminem trailer, I was thinking, yeah, it feeling real generic and kind of flat to me. But I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. Like I can't tell. But I was hyped.
You got a little worried.
Well, I mean, I'm not super invested in it. Like, it's not like, wait, if this crash dies here in a DC, because especially knowing, we in a post now in the gun era of the DC stuff. So like, I'm not super invested. I just think this is gonna be fine. I don't really care about continuity or law and that bullshit. Just I want to have a fun time in theaters, right?
However, looking at the box office for this thing is like, I don't know if this might be the last one.
Well, multiple probably will, like whatever. But again, I don't really give a shit about that, like stuff like that, because again, the gun material, when the gun stuff start kicking in, that is when stuff gonna be like, the real change gonna happen. And like giving the ending to this, I'm like, all right, well, if they don't continue this and it ends and they give Sandberg another job, or they give something else to Sandberg, because I think Sandberg should stay on. To be fair, like he's like too much of a talent to let go. But for what it was, I thought this was fine. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. It was kind of funny. Really, what hurt it, to be honest, was the pandemic. Like this should have come out in 2020 or whenever now. But clearly one of the big problems that the children kind of done grow up. So
Yeah.
the only character who don't feel like a hardback person was the little girl, the little black girl with the Skittles thing. Yeah, everybody just kind of feeling like hardback man now. So it not the gap that juxtaposition of child and adult not really working all that hot now. Like it not really feeling all that hot. Everybody is like, yeah, but Billy's a big man though. Like
Yeah.
big hardback man, big Adam's apple. It not gelling particularly well. I thought, I don't know. Again, this is probably because of pandemic shooting problems, but I thought Zachary Levi and I forget the actor's name who's playing the kid.
Asher Angel.
Oh, Asher
Right.
Angel.
Asher Angel.
Right. I felt they didn't really feel like the same person like in the first film. Like they was less. That was kind of weird to me. Like when he's Shazam, he just feels like a complete moron, right?
Mhm.
But as the Billy form, he just feels like, all right, he have his anxieties and they're making it work. And I felt that wasn't gelling as well as it could. Like I get it, he in superhero form, so he's supposed to be like overconfident, blah blah blah. But it's
However,
still
in
not
this,
working.
However, in this film, you barely see much of Billy in this one.
Right. Another thing is right. So Freddy's side story is
Kind of overtakes the whole movie.
a little bit, but I didn't hate it. It was okay, mostly because the chemistry was good. The love romance angle don't really work all that well, but everything else works well. For what it was, and I thought that twist was okay. Like I don't know if I'm spoiling anything with involving the twist, but something will when we get to spoilers, what the twist was involving him in the plot line. But the actual story itself, I was watching it and I was having fun. I will admit, if this was not, if my cinema was not in walking distance, I probably wouldn't have gone to see this. I only without talk about it. But I was like, look, I could get up out my house quick, go Gulf City quick, watch it quick, get back home. Those sort of thing. If I had to go further than Gulf City, I probably wouldn't have gone and see it, to be honest. Like I was not hyped going into it. And then when I went and watched it, I was like, that wasn't so bad. I admit I had a saga too. I'll admit. But I thought this was okay. This was fine. Like I didn't have any problems with it. Helen Mirren is pretty funny. It had some funny lines. It had some funny bits in it. There's one genuinely funny bit, guys, when they was talking over each other with the pen, recording everything. That's funny, right? And Helen Mirren reading all of the dialogue. That's funny. Yeah. That's a funny bit. Like it was working. Little lines like when a little spoiler with one of the characters when he confessed something and everybody was like, yeah, we know. That was funny because it's good comedy timing. It's a good family stuff. It's for kids. It's for baby thing. I don't mind that. Action could have used some work. Is clearly all of them inside a volume somewhere. It's too much green screen bullshit. Whatever. It's fine. Lucy Liu is straight up Rita Repulsa in this, right? Like straight up. Like but it was tolerable for what it was. Again, given the source material and thing. And I'll say is that the one thing that kind of absolutely ruined it. And if I think I would be more angry if it was a surprise to me because I find the whole thing just ruined the whole vibe. The big cameo. It's kind of terrible. Sorry. Especially given it was relevant to the plot. Kind of hated it. I felt they could have just leave it for what it was and then, try to leave it open. That would make things a little more interesting to me, in my humble opinion. But whatever, we'll get into spoiler section. So that's about me.
My only issue with that cameo is that it was never established that Shazam ever met this person previously. So what's she showing up here for?
I didn't have a problem with that because that is Wonder Woman law, given what they're talking about and what everything is about. So that I didn't have a big problem with that. It's like, yeah, Wonder Woman is deal up in that anyway, so it's fine. Like it's not a big jump. It's like fucking Cyborg show up or something like that, right? Like it's that, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, it's fine. I think we don't spoil it who it is, right?
Yeah. So spoiler free, right?
Right, but yeah. So the only thing is that it's just the comedy stuff is if you dug that or not. I thought it was okay. They had Jaimon Hansu cracking jokes too. All right, moving on. I didn't hate it. I can't say I hated it. That's no problem. But I wasn't like, terrible because what they do, it fit the characters for what they were going for, and it was just fine. It was just tolerable. I didn't hate it. Given where the DC space is in now, I don't have a problem with this because I'm not feeling that anything leveraging on this or we had to follow up on this or anything like that. It's not like there's not Ant-Man Quantumania where stuff is dependent on this to work for this to build forward. No. It's like if this ends and that is where they end it at, I'll be fine with that. And you'll move on. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I feel pretty much the same way as you, right? I'll keep my spoiler heavy thoughts for that section, right? I actually really enjoyed this though. And I will say, like, it's not like one of the best superhero sequels ever made though. But you can tell that David really was, doing the sequel thing, right? Where, you'll expand on certain things, explore certain characters, give more characters screen time and whatnot. So it's actually surprised with the amount of time, not that much, but the amount of time that they give Jaimon Hansu, right? As right. The wizard. They had him going back and forth with Freddy, you know what I mean? Right. Well, Kid Freddy, and which I didn't expect, right? But it makes for some great comedic moments as well, right? Another thing I didn't expect was the little romancing they did with Freddy and Antia, right? Played by McGill, Rachel Zegler. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Right.
Yeah, this works. This cute. I like this, right? And I will say, the twist didn't blow me away though, but I like how they set it up though. I like how they set it up where I will confess I didn't really see it coming, Yeah,
it was pretty heavily telegraphed. I was like, all right, she's one of them, blah blah blah. All right. And then when they say when they
Yeah,
say, I thought,
there's one close up that sells it though, but I really wasn't thinking about it that much. But
no, I
when
thought, I thought
thought
it
about
was.
it, when it go back to, it's like, all right, yeah, that's where it
No,
was.
I thought either Lucy Liu or Helen Mirren had some morphing ability or something along those lines, and
Oh,
that's what I
okay,
thought. But
okay.
when they say, and then, but I knew she was part of the thing, and then when they say, oh, it's a third sister, I was like, all right, that's she, all right, cool, right,
Right. And speaking of the sisters, right? Yeah, I really dug Lucy Liu as Calypso, but it's really Helen Mirren who shines, who has
yeah,
Hesperus.
yeah, yeah,
She really takes this material seriously. I'm not saying that Lucy Liu doesn't, right? But
yeah,
she just brings so much character into this too. And here's where I feel people will be kind of, iffy about this show, right? Yes, the dialogue does feel kind of stilted, kind of, comic bookish and whatnot, right? But I would say, like, especially with those two. But then again, remember, they are gods, right? Or,
right,
well, godlike characters and whatnot, right? So yes, they sound kind of theatrical in a sense, like, all right, we need the staff and we must do this and stuff like that. The way how they enunciate the words and stuff like that, it works, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, just like the first one, this does have a comic book vibe to it, though, where yeah, you're supposed to have fun with it, right? I mean, if it's
right,
one thing that Warner Brothers and DC really does well, is that they're not afraid to say, here's what, yeah, in this world we have a guy dressed like a bat, and we have a guy, dressed in, with, who flies around with an S on his chest, right? So
right,
let's
right,
take ourselves too serious, right? And yeah, this show does that, right? Where for me I felt the film really missed the mark now is, you're setting up, Shazam slash Billy Batson as the emotional core, as just the central character of all of this, right? But I felt like he was pushed to his side, especially the
yeah,
Billy Batson character. I felt like they were both pushed to his side because they wanted to set this thing up with Freddy and Tia. While I was liking all that, and I even like looking at it now in the context of the show, the whole Shazam doing the whole therapy thing. Like at first when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, all right, okay, that's a joke. But seeing it now in the
right.
context of the show, it make a lot of sense. Right.
I
But
felt,
like
I just
he
felt
could have
everything,
been he could have driven the story even more, but I just felt like
right,
he just kept being sidestepped because you have
yeah,
to bring in the other Shazams and you have
right,
to bring in the sisters and all that stuff. That I felt like
right.
he was pushed aside out
Yeah,
of his own film.
I felt if anything, they could have just focused more on the whole the abandonment issue aspect of it. Like that was, they made it clear, but it was more tell don't show, right? And they keep selling the whole, because they had this one running beat, emotional beat with him not calling her mom now, right? Calling the adopted mom.
Yeah, but
And I felt,
that was like only once in the movie though.
exactly, and that was the problem.
Right.
They did, and they were, but they were framing it as if, well, wait, there's some big problem now, there's some big emotional problem. Like, yeah, I get that, but they could have sell that more now. And it's only until the ending and the family stuff come together. Like, all right, okay, they could have make that work. I felt they could have just, cut that together a little better. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But
Few more things for you, right? I actually thought that the visual effects were strong in this though. Like, I really dug
yeah,
Antia's power. I'm not gonna spoil what it is,
right,
but
yeah,
it's
that's a pretty
really
cool thing,
awesome. I love that, right?
yeah,
And I mean, if it's one thing about Warner and DC though, I should say Warner in general, they don't fuck around when it comes to visual effects though. Like look at
yeah,
Black Adam Dread. They will throw everything but the kitchen sink at you and they will make that shit look awesome, right? I think the
yeah,
same thing I could say about this, right? So I would say, and also too, the action sequences were very well handled. The third act is amazing in my opinion.
yeah.
Just a lot of
Pretty
great
good action
moments there.
sequence, yeah.
It does take a while to get there, right? So yeah, another gripe I had is that I felt like the second act kind of drag a little bit at some point. So
Right,
because again, you set up all the subplots and you're trying to get everything together, and not all the time it kind of comes together neatly, though. But when it gets to third act and shit gets real, that's when you're like, all right, cool. I really dug that, right? And I mean, overall, and finally, last but not least, the performances. I mean, Zachary Levi is still Levi or Levi, whatever it is still great as Shazam. Asher Angel is still great as Billy Batson. Everybody does their thing, right? I had an issue with the actress who played the mom, though. The
yeah,
adoptive mom, like she had some really cringe, like just badly delivered lines. Though I was like, what you first one, like, I know you weren't there that much, though, right? But like your lines weren't as like badly delivered as they were here, though. I'm not sure why. It's just I guess it's just the script or whatever it is, right? But yeah, everybody came, did their thing, and as a whole, I had fun with it. I even dug the two post credit scenes which you'll get into in the spoiler section. There's one aspect about the second one that was a letdown for me. But
right,
again, it's the studio saying, yeah, we got a part three, man. Don't worry, man.
yeah,
Don't worry, we'll have a part three. I like, you sure? You
yeah.
really sure? But anyway, before we get to that, right? Daniel, your spoiler-free thoughts on Shazam 2.
Yeah, well, you guys said everything. The thing that these studios need to understand, I think, is that bigger doesn't always mean better. And well, having said that, I had fun with this. I had fun with Shazam 2. Um, Performances across the board were fine. Well, I don't know if we could talk about spoilers, but
Yeah,
right
we
now,
can start now. Right? Stop goofing about. Yeah, it's a good.
because I was okay. One
Yeah,
issue
good.
one issue that I still have with Shazam, Zachary Levi's character, is the man is way too dumb. And I mean,
Yeah,
they touch on this.
Yeah.
They touch on this in the movie that he's supposed to have the wisdom of Solomon, and we're still not seeing it.
Yeah, for real.
And he has all the other powers with and oh gosh, the wisdom of Saruman and wisdom of Solomon. Oh gosh,
Yeah, you could stop.
The cringe jokes were there, but I still didn't mind it. The daughters of Atlas were fine.
Okay, so here's how I interpret that though. How I interpret that is that everybody split up the power now.
Yeah.
So like one have speed, one have the Asian kid is the wisdom one. That's how I interpret that. So he himself don't have the wisdom of Solomon. He just have the strength, or he's like basically the Superman. I don't know. That's how I see it. But yeah, he a little too dotish, to be fair.
Yeah, and because the thing is with this film, now I want to talk about the theme because there is a strong. I see that there is a family message in the film, but it's just being buried by so much.
Right.
So much.
And the first film already did that and did it better. So it's like, well, okay, we're doing it again now. I don't know. I felt they could have really like do with the abandonment issue aspect better. Like that's how I felt about it.
Yeah. And also another issue that I have is Freddy kind of take up the whole movie. Like Freddy took up the whole movie, and
I didn't hate that.
Yeah, Shazam was kind of pushed to the side. Shazam and Billy.
I personally didn't hate that because I think Freddy's a better actor. Like he's a great actor. Like just him being funny on screen.
Jack Dylan Grazer.
Yeah, the kid version, right? He just like the adult one is great too, but I find that kid one is like such a great presence, legitimately funny, not a good timing. Like I really want to see him in more stuff now. But so he has such great screen presence with everybody he was bouncing off of. Is like, well, I thought he was like kind of like he was holding the movie together now. He had some of the best bits, and so that's why I wasn't hating. Even though the movie he does distract from the movie, he's kind of a side character. I wasn't hating it because he was like I was entertained. I enjoying why he here now. It's like, hey, good. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and the action scenes. Well, there are some action scenes in the film, and they're all right. It gets really intense in the end. I'm like, can we talk about spoilers?
Yeah, no, good. Yeah.
Can we talk about the door?
All right. So spoiler territory. You've been warned. EU.
Yeah. You go through, man.
So let's go.
Yeah. Go through. Don't worry about it.
I felt the intensity of the final battle when they will shrink the dome around.
Right. Yeah.
They shrank the dome around Lucy Liu's character Calypso and Billy. Like I felt the intensity. I just wish it was in a better film, but I don't. Like I said, I don't hate this. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Right.
Anybody else can run through?
Yeah. No. As I said, that's my final point and then rating. As I said, I think I will fully admit two things. One, I had a couple stags in there, so
that's your excuse.
I was digging it. I was digging it for what it was, right? And it was relatively low stakes from an effort standpoint for me just going to watch the movie, right? That is one. And two, the actual low stakes in the meta narrative is a very big factor here, in my humble opinion. Meaning that it have nothing going forward. Like I don't think James Gunn or they're gonna build from this or move from this. They're just wrapping it up. They might take some stuff and then move on. But like I don't get the feeling that the continuity matters in any workable sense or nothing like that. So I just felt, all right, they're just doing their own thing. They're wrapping up this story. Samba get a chance to do his thing. Hopefully you'll get some other project involving DC. As I said before, I really don't want him to leave. I think he's too much of a good talent to go and to lose. But if they're rebooting Shazam or something like that, give him it. Whatever.
Well, to be fair, it's not like he will stop working at Warner, because I mean his
Right.
Lights Out and Annabelle creation was from Warner, right? So
Exactly.
yeah,
So he
I
did.
mean you'll still get a paycheck from them,
He
right?
did.
Yeah.
But my point is that I would like to see him in other comic book DC stuff, other DC properties going forward, right? Don't have to be Shazam necessarily, but probably if they're doing some kind of rehaul and whatever going to happen after Flash or Aquaman or whatever it is, whatever, when James Gunn fully properly take over, I want to see him there, to be honest, right? Whatever. But the point is that, they just do their thing. And I can't say I'm hating on it or anything like that. But I'll admit, if it had more involved in the conceit of, well, all right, the continuity have to matter, and if they fuck this up, it could fuck up things going forward or anything like that. Like this is how I felt about Ant-Man Quantumania. My attitude was like too much leveraging and hinged on that film. But since nothing hinged on this film, I don't really have a problem with it going forward in the grander meta narrative of what they're trying to do or what they're trying to build forward or whatever it is that James Gunn's plan is, whatever, right? And so I just sat back and enjoyed it, and I didn't feel like I wasted my time or anything like that. Rating, 7 out of 10, right? I'll give it like probably close to a 6, to be honest. As I said, it's not some objective quality, but where it needs to be in its conceit. And since everything was so low stakes, I didn't mind it, especially given that it's for such a skewed young audience, right? It's not like with Black Adam, where Black Adam needed to be good, and because Black Adam was a mess, it's not like that. Even though I remember I had a lot of fun with Black Adam too. But I put it in that same kind of space. It's a shame they couldn't do more with this. I thought the cameo of Wonder Woman sucked. We'll probably talk about that, but it was just kind of stupid. And to be honest, if they left it at Billy dying and left that open, that would have been much more interesting. But it's a kids movie; they're not doing that shit, right? So whatever. Moving on.
I really enjoyed the humor though, like in the end, like the end shot with the wizard.
Yeah, it's a funny hit.
The wizard got cut down, yes.
Yeah.
Right, but speaking of the wizard, right? Just to get further into spoilers, right? I want to talk about a few spoilers if you all don't mind, right? But I will leave my my rating for last if you all don't mind, right? Even though it was shown in the trailer that yes, Jaimon Hansu was going to return, how they set it up was pretty interesting as well. Where it's like, all right, well, he died, but he died in the human world, but that means that he'll be in prison,
right.
with the Atlas sisters. I mean, I thought that was really interesting, right? How they set that up, right?
So
And well, I mean, you get a moment. Well, it gives the show an excuse, to have him be all cranky and whatnot, and I mean, it makes sense, right?
So it was explained how he came back to life.
Look, listen, a wizard did it.
It's magic shit. That's what
literally a wizard did it. Like, look, shit like this, I do not fight down when it comes to like DC and their magic shit. He died in the human world, so he somehow resurrected in the God world somehow. I don't know, whatever. Listen, I don't care because they give reasons as to why the human world and the magic world is separated, and they separated for good reasons. So him dying in the human world is a big deal because now he can't protect the human world. That's exactly kind of what the conceit is. And then because Billy's a moron and break the thing, it caused more problems than it solved. Right, that kind of thing. Now, whatever. Listen. Every time you have these kind of questions for this, a wizard did it because look, they literally a wizard did it. So whatever, moving on.
No, but we have a lot of moments, a lot of magic stuff there where you just have to shut up. You just have to be like, all right, shut up, it's magic, right?
Yeah.
Like case in point, right? Just to touch quickly on the whole tree of life thing, right? Okay, yeah, the big thing is about, we have to get this golden apple, which of course is in the lair which Billy and his siblings, his adopted siblings, pretty much live in, right? Yeah, of course golden apple is there, right?
Yeah, nice Greek mythology thing. Nice typical. Yeah.
What I want to say, I like sorry to cut you there, Daniel. Why I do like just touching quickly on the whole layer thing, right? I like from a production set, like a set design, how it looks. One, also they explore the aspect of the doors because near the end of the second arc of the first film,
right?
Yeah, they had to thing with the doors, and if you go in one, it's like, oh, what is that, right? And they try to get back to their home, right? So I like that they explore it. It does lead to a kind of a Harry Potter-esque kind of thing with the pen, with the magical pen thing.
Yeah.
Like when I first saw, I was like, all right, this is
flying and thing,
yeah, this is some Harry Potter shit. The only thing missing is just the music from it.
Yeah.
But they make it work. There's actually a great bit involving this letter that Billy sends to Calypso. Sorry, to Hespera and Calypso, and Hespera is reading it now, and it's literally like them talking, and
it's a funny bit.
It's just the pen transcribing everything they say. That was a nice bit. I was cracking up on that shit. That was cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I like the creature designs in the end, like the
Very horror.
Yes.
The creature designs, like all the Greek monsters, like
it looked great. The Manticore,
Minotaurs,
the Minotaur, the Chimera, the Harpies.
It had a Manticore. It had a Manticore that looked great. The scorpion tail, but it's lion head. I was like, oh, that looking real hard.
Right, yeah.
And then, well, the bit with the unicorn is, sorry, that's just dumb. That's just some corporate bullshit. Sorry.
Here's the thing. The moment I saw the all right, like when the unicorn shows up, right? And by the way, the unicorn looks badass in my opinion. I see that in cinema. That looks badass, right? Yeah, of course, Dollar being Dollar, right? The young Dollar comes in and gives the unicorn some Skittles, right? And when I saw it, I was like, when I saw it, I was like,
cringe.
Product placement. Like I yelled at, right?
Cringe.
But the moment where she says Tasty Rainbow, I was like, all right, that is both cringe and smart at the same time. Because honestly, I would not have connected the tagline for that product with the unicorn. And yet it makes perfect sense. When I saw that, I was like, yes, that makes sense.
And I
like it.
I swear it had some Skittles I had back in the days that literally had a unicorn at some point in it. So
well, they used to make joke out of it. I think there was one,
I can't remember.
when they started to, respect the rainbow, taste the rainbow. I think they had a bit some joke involved with a unicorn, right?
Right.
And by the way, again, because this is magic, right? So, all right, so you have like a whole like herd or whatever it is of black unicorns, right? So everybody can ride horses now. Everybody can ride unicorns now. Just because
it had one part. It had one part that was arbitrary as hell, though. Like how they get to how the van reached there. Remember they get to they had the little family van.
Oh, to the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, how the van reached there? They didn't get teleporter flying there or something like that. Whatever. Moving on.
And how they collect Freddy and Antia and all
that
shit.
How they reach. Whatever.
I'll speak of that. I do like the dragon design. Like, I mean, it's nothing original, but I do like the dragon design. And what I was really interested too was this moment where it was about you think it was going to devour Antia, but it just was kind of like sucking her powers out, or was like gearing up to do it.
It was inducing fear in them. It was inducing fear
in them. Right. Because it feeds off of fear right there.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the thing is, what I like about the dragon design, it reminds me of the dragon, that wood dragon design in Naruto, that the first Hokage did, to wrap around thing. It's like, oh, that looking real hard though. That wood design and it looking like wood and the rendering of the wood looking good when it cracking up. And well, Billy make a dumb joke about it, but it's like, oh, okay, dumb, stop. You could shut up now. Moving on. But yeah, that's all. I don't know. It had some good designs overall, like especially the horror stuff. Yeah, the horror skills came in just like in the first film.
Yeah.
But I forget the creatures, the
seven deadly sins.
The 7 sins.
But because it's a family-friendly film, of course, characters don't get eaten. No one. Like there's a moment where this guy, I think it's this cop, was busting shots at this Minotaur. I thought like the Minotaur was literally gonna swallow him. He's like, no, lift him up and throw him away. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. I thought there's one moment I thought was
PG-13, yo.
No, it had one moment, even implied, is incredibly frightening. So they get a top tier Batman voice to come through, right? The principal or the teacher, I forget who's the guy whose relationship. And they make him commit suicide. Or like, what the fuck? That real dark.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
It's a really dark moment. Like, all right, wood. And it look he's like, in my opinion, he's right now. He's the voice. He is the Batman voice actor now since Karen Conroy gone, right? So like, okay, they get him to come through, as a nice little cameo. It was nice. But like, what the hell?
That's Dietrich, right? Dietrich Bader. Yes. I know the face. Yeah, just didn't know his name at the point.
I know him. I know him originally from Office Space. Like, he's one of the funniest characters in Office Space, right? But he does.
Right, he was in that movie. Right.
Yeah, he does the voice of Batman in the Harley Quinn show, and then he does Batman in Batman Brave and the Bold. That's why I knew him from. Because the big joke is that two Batmans at the same time, man. If you get that reference, it's funny, right? Whatever.
Yeah. Also, I should mention too. All right. So just going back to the whole pediatrician joke, right? Who Shazam thinks was a therapist, right? His name, Dario Bava. I was like, all right.
Yeah, he's a comedy character actor, yeah.
Yeah, PJ Byrne, right? Well, I mean, like the name itself, Dario Argento, Mario Bava. I was like, all right.
Okay, I didn't get that. Right.
Horror fan. Sandberg.
Right,
I see
right,
what
right.
you're trying to do there. I see what you're trying to do
Right.
there, right? That
Right,
was really
right, right.
interesting, right? So few more spoiler moments, right? The final fight, you know what I mean, between Shazam and Calypso and
Calypso.
the dragon was really like just visually though was stunning though in my opinion, right? And
Right. So I thought
you got the
this moment,
intensity of that moment. Yeah.
I thought this moment was a kind of, I don't know, I would say it's a middle finger or anything like that, but it felt like a kind of a, I would say nod, but it's a very similar scene to Batman v Superman, the ending, right? Remember? With the
with
spear,
right, with the
yeah, with the
kryptonite
Kryptonian
spear.
spear in Batman v Superman. That's why I was
Oh,
like,
Right.
so
yeah.
this, why did he fly that hole in it like that? What the fuck? Like that was cracking
Yeah,
me
because
up.
that was what
And
Superman did, right?
yeah,
That's right,
exactly.
right.
So it's like, what the hell is this? This supposed to be our reference? What's going on here? It's
No,
like,
and
well,
funny, the person who would have picked up on it, Freddie, well, he wouldn't have seen it because they had this whole dome thing. Yeah,
right,
I
right.
still iffy about the whole dome aspect of
That didn't seem to serve a
Atlas
purpose.
Sisters
I didn't
flag.
get
I was just
that.
like, why are we
I didn't
doing
get
this?
exactly because it didn't really sell a conceit of, well, all right, they're running out of air, or I didn't get it didn't seem to have a ticking clock to it. So I don't know why the
Yeah,
dome was a,
and then
it was just to
no,
separate them.
yeah, then no, oh gosh, cliche 101. You always have to have that helicopter flying towards
Right.
it. You know what I mean? When I
Of
see it, I was like, oh god,
To
man,
show how big it
doing
is.
this, you're doing this, boy. And then we see
Yeah.
that again in the third act, like, why are we doing this? Is the
Right.
same chopper? I don't even know, right? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
However, I wish that this film would stop giving fuel to these toxic Snyder fans, because the dream sequence in the beginning when Billy was having a dream, he was having a dinner with Wonder Woman,
Right.
and then
right.
all of a sudden the Wizard's head appears.
Right.
I see the Snyder fans just completely shitting on this scene on Twitter. It's like, oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh,
Again.
well, I'll say this one time. I have that shot of Jaimin Honsu's head on Gal Gadot's
Yeah.
body. That is going to be a meme. That is
Yeah,
definitely
it is.
a meme.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
But
Alright.
it's a funny enough bit. Like, again, it's for kids. It's a funny enough bit. It works for what it was. It's like, fine. Whatever. It's a dream. Who cares? Like, it's
Yeah,
fine.
but I
Exactly,
kind of
exactly.
appreciate it as setup as what we'll get with the cameo. And also, too, something I didn't even pick up on, but my friend who was sitting on next to me explained to me, the sort of, like the globe thing, I forget what you call it, right? How it was sparking and then it just blows up, right? I like
Right,
that they
right.
actually incorporate that the way how
Oh,
Shazam
the light,
beats
yeah.
the dragon. Like, all right,
Right.
yeah, that makes sense, right?
Right.
That makes sense.
Or there's
Also,
there's a funny line in with his wife is lightning hits in the house all the time. That's kind
yeah,
of funny.
yeah, yeah. That's
Again,
that's what the Foster
Small
father said.
bits. Small bits at work. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, well, that actor, he could do those bits well, but
Yeah,
again, the mother, not so much,
Not
right?
so much, right? Yeah.
But before we get to the cameo, I should mention quickly, well, Pedro's reveal that he's gay, right?
Right.
When I saw it, right, it wasn't a lot of people in the audience, right? But when he says like, "Oh, I'm gay," right? And there's a great, comedic bit, right? Yes, people was like, "What?" You know what I mean? But even before that, there was a moment where he was watching this baseball game
But
and he was just zeroing in on this one guy, right?
Right.
But I just kind of say to myself, I can't say it aloud, right? Aloud to the audience. They hinted that since part one,
Part
that
one,
Pedro
right?
was gay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a moment where
When they were
trying
coming
to
out of the
hate
strip
bad guy.
club.
Strip club,
Come on,
right?
the
Yeah.
strip club,
Yeah,
and he was
come on,
like,
strip
"Yeah,
club.
it's all right, yeah."
Not my
So I was
thing.
like,
He was like, not my thing.
Right.
yeah, not
right.
my thing. That's what it is. So even then, I know, but the reveal though was it was comedic, but it was well done. Though I
Yeah.
must say that was good.
Right.
Right. And now few more things for you. Now that cameo, right, from Wonder Woman, right? I hated the fact that the teaser spoiled it. Like the moment I saw that bit, because I saw it on Instagram of all sites, right? I like, why would you spoil that shit, Dread? There was a girl who sitting on behind me, right? And she was clapping and cheering the moment the team
Right.
saw come on and see Gal Gadot actually show up as Wonder Woman, right? But in the context of the show, I understand why it's there because, like, at first I was like, wait, this serious? They're really gonna pull the trigger and actually kill off Billy? Are this serious? But then, well, Wonder Woman comes in and it's like, power of the gods and all that kind of stuff. So she revives him, right? I could be wrong, right? But was that a Robin that that flew towards the grave, and that's when the hand comes out? Because I swear that was supposed to be some sort of reference to how Freddy, was kind of called him like oh gosh, like a sidekick. Like in the first one they talk about the whole sidekick thing, Batman Robin kind of thing. I was wondering if that bird was supposed to reference that or if it's supposed to reference something else. I don't know. But yeah, for me, I didn't mind the cameo by Wonder Woman. It does open up a whole hornet's nest of, well, the continuity and where this happened. This happened after Justice League, the Snyder Cut. We don't know. But I just say, what, God character, she's part of it. Okay, cool, it's fine. And he did have a dream about her anyway. So I like it, afterwards where Shazam kind of mentioned, we could kind of hook up, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, right? That was cool, right? But I know some people will hate that moment. I know you did, Ricardo. But I was like, well, all right, we kind of had to do this because you had to remind people it's the DCEU after all, and it's a kid's show, it's a family show. It can't just kill the man off just so, right?
Right.
Although it would have been really amazing, though. Like,
that would have been more interesting,
if they did that, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if y'all, well, Ricardo, you talking enough about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say, but Daniel, anything else you want to weigh in on the whole Wonder Woman cameo?
I thought it was fine. Like my only gripe was I just wish that they had established maybe Shazam met Wonder Woman in the past, so maybe it would make more sense. But then
another version of Shazam or another champion.
Maybe, like, I don't know, something to kind of hint that she kind of knows that Shazam exists or something, so it doesn't feel kind of jarring.
Yeah, so, and also to the show's credit, they kind of did in the first film bring in a cameo in quotes with Superman, right? And thinking about it now, I like that in that cameo, which you saw before the credits for that film, where you didn't see Henry Cavill's head, right? So I assume that's why when, Billy has a dream now, that's why you don't see Gal Gadot's head. So it's meant to be a reference to that. I could be wrong.
That's what I thought too. Because when I was watching the scene, I was like, oh, this is the cameo. Cool. I didn't see it. I just read it. I just read that Wonder Woman is going to be in this. So I was thinking, all right, whatever. And then when I saw the scene in the dream, I was like, oh, that's what it is. Moving on. No. Then we get that bullshit in the end, and it's like, all right, well, are you really doing that, boy? Oh no, terrible.
Yeah. So we wrap it up here. I also like in the end too with Billy accent. The wizard. Yeah. What's my real name? What's my superhero name? It's like Shazam. It's like it's like obvious. That was cool. I like that. I like that. Right. So now for the post-credit scenes, right? The first one, I really dug that. However, it runs a little too long, but I still like it. I really like it because of Zachary's comedic timing here. Just how he was just riffing, right? I did not expect in a million years that we would see Emilia and John from Peacemaker. That caught me completely by surprise, but it works. And
there's also a decent Avengers joke there.
Yeah, which I'll get to, right? It's kind of weird that they will try to recruit him to join the Justice Society, because now trying to go back to what I saw late last year with Black Adam, now trying to remember if Emilia and John or Amanda at all were... no, Amanda was involved in the Justice Society.
Yeah. No. Right. Here's my issue with this. I mean, I haven't really seen Peacemaker, but I know that I know that by the end of Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad has dissolved, right? So, so like in Black Adam, they established that Amanda Waller is calling on the Justice Society to take on Black Adam, right? So Amanda Waller is leading the Justice Society now. That has not happened in the comics. It's like, I have an issue with this.
That's one of the weirdest things in Black Adam that show up. I was like, wait, what he had to do with Amanda Waller? Because those characters show up out of nowhere, to be fair. So it's like, exactly. What, Amanda? So like, listen, in the context of the DCU, if you care about this bullshit, and my brain, this car let go because I have a brain like that. But like, the whole point of Amanda Waller is just looking for something that could be on a Kryptonian level threat, or at least addressing something like that, right? So like, it's not a full stretch, but like, Amanda Waller is a straight up villain, like at this point. So like, why Hawkman care about Sheena? But again, Hawkman come out of nowhere, so whatever. Moving on.
I know that in the comics sometimes Captain Marvel serves on the Justice Society, but and David F. Sandberg did say that originally they did want the Justice Society to show up to recruit him, but like it didn't work out, so they had to settle for Emilia Harcourt and John Economos coming and recruiting him.
Right.
But then it opens up the can of worms, like, yo, why is Amanda Waller with the Justice Society?
You see, Daniel, why I actually like this movie and I don't care, because none of this is going to matter in like a year or so, because they're not going to follow up on any of this. It does not matter.
Because James Gunn taking over,
They're wiping it. Yeah, they're wiping it. They call it this was a mess from since the first Suicide Squad movie back in 2016. It's a hot mess since then. So they don't fuck it up since then. So that's why I don't care. It's hard for me to give a shit now. Yeah,
Yeah, but you do get some solid jokes, not original, but solid jokes about the Justice Society. Like, oh well, if there's a Justice League, which of course Wonder Woman is a part of, then why we have a Justice Society? And yeah, I like when he says the Avengers Society. Like, all right, that's a
Clever.
cool joke. Yeah.
Clever.
James Gunn, I see you there. I see you there.
Right.
You and Saffron having little jokes or whatnot. I see, right? Um, Also, before I forget, before I get to the end, the final end credits here, right? I should mention this before I get to it, right? I know it's Warner though, but these HBO Max references, right? So, hey, Khaleesi, hey, Saruman, you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, there's these random references to property, New Line Cinema property and HBO property, because Warner Brothers and all that kind of stuff. I was like, all right, well, they could dial it down a little bit. It's not that much, right? It's one of those blink and you miss it moments, right? So it's like that, right? And of course, last but not least, the post credits here with
Mr.
Savannah,
Mind
right?
and Mr.
Yeah.
Mind.
And Mr.
So yeah,
Mind.
they bring back. They tease him in the last one, so they tease
Yeah.
him a second time. So what? He's supposed to do some big thing they're hyping up? I don't know.
But that thing, but I do like that they follow up on, well, he's in the same room, same
Same
asylum
room,
or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he pretty much he just pretty much put a whole set of shit all over the walls or whatnot, right? So
Yeah.
there's really little he could do now. But yeah, Mr. Mind show back up again, but apparently it's like 2 years for the moment that they met each other in the first film, right?
Right.
But the letdown for me is that yeah, Mr. Mind is still like, oh well, I'm still organizing the plan, but I mean, look at me, I'm a worm, you know what I mean? I can't do anything now, so you have to keep waiting.
So no,
right,
this-
have to keep
this-
waiting, and
this
then
is
like the scene literally just stops abruptly, and they
Yeah.
see the logos, like what?
Yeah,
Okay, stop
this is-
teasing us, bro. Come on,
this-
get to the point there.
Now this is some amazing Spider-Man bullshit. They ain't gonna do nothing with this. That's not going anywhere. They're not doing anything with it. You don't have to. You don't have to care. Stop. If you don't concern yourself about the meta narrative, it's not a problem. Moving on.
Yeah, boy. Like I don't know. Just looking back at it though, like it sucks to be related to Shazam, boy, because not just this show have post credit scenes that really not gonna materialize to anything. Same thing with Black Adam. Like I mean, like oh gosh, like I felt so bad. Like see it for the first time with Superman. You know what I mean? Like that was cool, right?
Exactly.
Even though unfortunately it was spoiled for me prior to seeing it, right? But yeah, people hope so. Like, oh my God, like Henry Cavill gonna return, and then like weeks afterwards, like nope, sorry. It's like wow, like I can't watch that scene again though. It's just like well, you could like cut that out and they already put it out on Blu-ray or whatever it is, right? So that scene is there. They're not gonna take it out. So
I mean, unless they fake it out everybody and they're actually gonna bring it back off. After all, that meaningless.
Yeah,
and it kind of annoying that they have a Black Adam movie and a Shazam movie and they're not related.
Not connected in any way.
Yeah, boy.
Not related.
Yeah, total.
Yeah,
shipping.
so I don't know, boy. Like I mean, we just had a little podcast, so but stop making promises or they can't keep that. Like come on, like we too old for this, right? But yeah, rating wise, I'm gonna give this strong 3.5 out of 5, man. It was a worthwhile time at the theater. I had fun with it. I laughed. I cringed a couple of points. I was concerned for some of the characters in this as well. And yeah, I just had a blast watching this. I mean, the show does what it does. If the whole lighthearted, family friendly tone isn't for you, then yeah, you're not gonna care about this. But that is what the first film was about, and this film is like that. Yes, it's not a perfect sequel. It's tried to spin a whole bunch of plates at the same time with the characters and whatnot, and flesh out flesh out the existing characters even more. But I felt it was to the expense of Shazam and Billy Batson themselves, right? But everybody still do what they're supposed to do. It's very well, filmed and whatnot. Directed strong, acting strong, action scenes, really entertaining as well. And yeah, this is a solid follow up to the first film, man. I must say, right? It's a shame though because I mean James and Peter gonna just wipe the slate clean here. But in terms of this is like the last remnants of the DCU and what it could have been, right? Yeah. This is something that I will remember. Like, yeah, this is what the DCU could have been. Yeah, if people was more focused and not trying to be trying to stay with the competition. You know what I mean? I.e. The MC, right? Yeah, if they had just stuck to the guns and just told these stories, yeah, we would have been excited for this, right? But it's like, yeah, we get so cool. Can't wait to see what we get next. I guess what else we have now? We have the Aquaman sequel and the Flash.
Flash.
Yeah, that's it too.
And that's it. So yeah, I mean, well, the DCU is almost to its end, but yeah, this is still an entertaining film overall. So regardless of that, yeah, I'll still watch it, again. But yeah, Daniel, your final thoughts and rating.
Well, I gave the first film a 7 out of 10. For this one, I will give it a 6 to a 6.5. I had a decent good time with it. The kiddie, light-hearted humor, it didn't annoy me too much. I actually thought it was fine. Shazam needs to get back the wisdom of Solomon. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. He needs to be wise. Please if they plan on bringing Shazam back in James Gunn's universe, I don't know if they will. Please do us a favor, give him the wisdom of Solomon. Freddy
But you
is.
see, Daniel, if he's wise, then he would be funny. And we need him to be funny.
I mean,
That's
you
just a
can
dumb
still
joke.
write
That's a dumb
smart.
joke. It's a
You
dumb
know,
joke.
like the character. Listen, the whole Wisdom of Solomon thing is more like he just have like access to a mental database.
Yeah.
That's how I always interpret it as in he could solve problems immediately, kind of stuff. That's how I just kind of think of that. But he's still a kid. Like it's still a kid at heart, that kind of thing. So that's the main problem there. But as I say, the last point is that. Well, sorry, just finish your point, Daniel. I'll just get my last point.
No, Freddy's story. I appreciate the fact that they tried to give Freddy more to do, but it kind of overshadowed the movie, and they made Shazam not the main character of his own movie. So that also kind of annoyed me. David F. Sandberg, the director, he did his thing. He tried to stitch this together the best he could, and bro, you did your best, and the best is the best you can do. So it's like, yeah, I appreciate what you did, and decent effort. I enjoyed your film. I will watch it again. Maybe my opinion on it will change with further viewings, but right now I'll give it a 6 out of 10, 6.5. That's it.
All right. Well, yeah, Ricardo, you were saying?
Yeah, no, that's my last point. Is that the main thing about this, the big takeaway about this film is that it was kind of like the last victim of COVID, right? In a sense, right? It just felt like if this came out in 2020 or early 2021 or something like late 2020 maybe or something like that, it could have worked so much better. Like it could have just been, we still in the mood and we still flowing from the first film, and I know it's not in the back of my mind, but too much time passed. And again, them children get a little too big now. So it's like, all right, well, you kind of just had to reset the whole thing. And actually, it could have been a workable franchise as it is, going forward. So that's how I feel about that. You can have a start.
But then again, the box office. You need to factor in box office and all that stuff. So we don't know if this will survive.
No, as I say, you don't know. Again, at the time. So if it came out then, because the first one did well, like it did reasonably well, right?
Yeah.
But this one, as I say, if it came out without COVID didn't exist, and it came out in say late 2020 or 2021, then that would have been interesting. That could have worked, and we don't counterfactuality, right? Whatever, blah blah blah. But the point is, it could have. I felt that the main thing that undermined this is that it take too long between both films. I'm sure it get too big. Sorry. Like you need young children. That's the only way this work. Billy in particular is like Billy is a man, big hardback man, turning into another big hardback man. So it didn't work in my opinion. So that's why it was just that's the main takeaway from it for me. That's it. Last point.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, I mean, for what it is, Fury of the Gods is worth checking out, man. So if you enjoyed the first film, yeah, you should enjoy this one, man. For real. Yeah.